All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm greeting you from the last Swiss stage match of 5 European Cup. It is round 5, and yep, you guessed it. You have Kazakhstan seed 9 versus BeLux seed 14. And then in the commentary booth, you have me, BeLux, having the honor of commentating this one. Both teams are really interesting. They have really interesting stories. We'll start off with Kazakhstan. Both of the teams are obviously in the 2-2 Swiss group, so the winner of this one will advance to the bracket stage. The loser will actually have to be the loser will be eliminated. And with that, Kazakhstan, they recently won against Ukraine in round 4. They won 5-1, and it was quite a match for them. They beat the seed 11 team like it was nothing. And overall, they've been on a very interesting road. They lost to Czechia and Russia. They got swept by them, but they beat Italy and Ukraine. So, they kind of your team that beats those middle seeds but loses to super high seeds. And yeah, they have some things in their under their sleeves that they can show us in today's match. And then you have BeLux, which are actually seed 14, but they have already outseeded their own placement in qualifiers, because at the very least they will get from top 9 to top 11 even if they lose. And BeLux, they won against Austria in their previous matchup, and also they won against Ukraine, so both of those teams they beat Ukraine. And yeah, with that, you have your guys here. All of the fans that we have in chat, you can vote for the prediction. You can vote who will win the match, actually. We have it in our Twitch chat so far. It seems like we have a lot of people who believe in BeLux a lot, so we will see how this goes. BeLux, of course, have entered that slippery road as well. Always been up and down. Same for Kazakhstan, but only one of the teams will actually be able to emerge victorious. So far, looking at the bans, we saw a DT2 ban from BeLux. They do not really like those tap-in maps, and we saw it in their previous performances. While Kazakhstan actually likes those tapping maps, so they are picking no mod 2, which we're gonna see soon. But before we jump straight into that, we still have ban from Team Kazakhstan. There's going to be HR2. Quite fascinating to see. Team Kazakhstan, they have always been banning those hard rock maps actually really consistently in all of their matches. Hard rock 1, hard rock 2, they always get rid of them, even if your opponent doesn't really play those hard rocks. They just hate hard rock for life, and I have nothing but respect for that. But regardless, with that, Noma 2 is gonna be the opening map of our today's last match. And yeah, when it comes to Kazakhstan, they have been picking those tap maps all the time, except the last one against Ukraine, actually, where they decided to change their strategy. Quite interesting from them, because in match against Ukraine, they actually picked a whole lot of aim and control maps instead of the usual tapping. So, Kazakhstan is kind of a team that is very much flexible with their skill sets. While looking for BeLux, they actually pretty much pick aim and control most of the time. They do not really change their game plans. So you have, that kind of battle of consistency and battle of new experiences between both of those teams. Kazakhstan's the dark horse of the previous iteration, making it to top 5, top 6. Now looking forward to try and repeat that crazy run and maybe even get a higher placement this time. But in order to that, they will first of all have to rival BeLux, which also really wants to get out of that bracket stage. You have all the lineups locked in. With this, I wish all the best for both of the teams. Let the stronger one win. And join us for a ride, everybody, because this one is promised to be an entertaining match. With your Noma 2 being a really tough stamina heavy map, we saw Czechia and Finland play this map, and this map is really merciless. No FCs from any of the players in that lobby in their previous match. And those were some higher seeded teams. For example, Czechia was seed 7. Those are lower seeds, so gonna be tough for them on paper. But we'll see how this goes. So far, It's Ofrain finding that first break for Team Kazakhstan, but he is not the carry when it comes down to tapping. Hahami, Emochka, and Poisonous are the trio that are actually super strong when it comes to those tapping mechanics. While BeLux, they also have a 4-way FC, but now as soon as I'm saying that Mega Capacitor, the captain of the team, is finding that unfortunate break, with that it is now a 3v3, and by accuracy, Kazakhstan is gonna be taking the upper hand right off the bat, and we're looking at that accuracy Mega Capacitor dropping down to 89% all the way. Really not enjoying this one. Might be the fourth player syndrome. Still though, you have 3 amazing performances from other BeLux players. Blue Flare Blitz is holding as best as he can with 88, but still FC is an FC. You need to see more breaks from Kazakhstan if you want that break point, but it's not happening so far. Blue Flare Blitz right before that slow section is gonna be finding a crucial break, crucial choke of the map, as we're soon gonna be entering the last KI. Poisonous also did find one, and with that, it's now a 2 versus 2 with Emochka and Hahami against AG3 that just found that break. That is not what you want to see. And oh god, what's I think the client trolled a bit. It says please make the window wider. I think quit that because it's okay. Now it's better. Now it's better. Now it's better. All right. Oh. Yep. Never mind. It's really hard to tell what's happening right now as the score is actually very much close. Oh no! Oh GG. Yeah, and we're looking at Hami with an FC, at least probably the only FC left. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's him, 500,000 score advantage, and he hit that last stream. That is exactly the dispike of the map. He can be really proud of that. And yeah, with the stream fixed, we now clearly see that dominant performance from Team Kazakhstan, 600k score difference. A really great way for them to start their match. So far, seems like they decided to return to their roots of their first matches. They're not going for those aim and control maps that they went for against Ukraine. Now it is just the same situation. And yeah, with this one, DT2 makes perfect sense that BeLux decided to get rid of it. So Kazakhstan might go for some other tapping maps later on, maybe something like free mod 1, who knows? We still have those open. But yeah, we shall just wait and see, as right now it is BeLux determining their next, their first pick of the match. They need to find a really smart reply against Kazakhstan's first pick. I mean, from what it seems so far, they, of course, take a lot of aim and control. Primarily in last match against Astra, they picked Nomad 3, Hard 2, DT1, which is exactly what you need. Some alt, some aim maps. And honestly, even though Kazakhstan is pretty okay at those, I feel like at this point you should just pick something that you feel really comfortable on. Considering this is also a 6.4 star pool, it's close to qualifiers, so you know, some of those players who are on the lower side of the skill cap on the skill cap range, they might start to actually get those skill caps because it's quite high for such lower seeded teams. But regardless of that, we are opting that free mod 2 option, this BeLux, to go for it. And it is easy to know that it's a very classy free mod 2 that you have. It is anti-mode, of course, tests a lot of your awkward aim, really chill BPM, really chill drain, and just the typical free mod 2 that you are expecting to see right here. And BeLux, you know, looking at their team, I can definitely tell that they have some great gimmick players for such things. They have Blue Flare Blitz and Kazakh, who both picked easy on free mod 1, if I recall correctly, in the first week of Swiss stage. And overall, those two are the strongest gimmick players for Team BeLux. Maybe some of them will decide to go for easy. And if anyone is wondering, the easy multipliers are going to be 1.7x with easy and 2.2x with easy HD. That is right. And yeah, we do see Kazakh HD3 is the new name of the guy. And Mikov, also the carry of the team. Same thing goes for Kaja. Those two are the strongest duo that BeLux has ever had in history of 5EC. Mikov from Luxembourg, Kaja from Belgium. And they are insanely strong. Mikov literally saved his country against Ukraine on that tiebreaker a couple of weeks ago. And that's the reason why they are still here. So yeah, expecting to see those roster depth machinations from the team. And Kazakhstan, they are also sending in their best players for free mod. You see Haham, Poisonous, and Image not changing their lineups. And you also have Tide. Tide usually goes for no mod all the time when it comes down to those free mod maps, just for that one stable FC. But this time around, it's actually going to be quite different. Tide with the Hard Rock. And overall, the mod distribution is quite interesting. There's gonna be a double Hard Rock from Titan Poisonous and one hidden from Imochka Hahami for that no mod. And for BeLux, this is really fascinating. You see an easy from Blue Flare Blitz. So dear viewers, that score line is gonna be quite not accurate, because Blue Flare Blitz, his score will need to get multiplied by 1.7x at the end of the map. And yeah, if you want to do some quick maths, you can count. Right now it is literally pretty much the no difference between the two teams, as we are done with the first intersection. And yeah, so far we're just awaiting for that first KI. Maybe a couple of breaks from Emiko and Haheim, but those were tactical breaks from your no-mod players to secure that stable FC. That, you know, overall, breaking in the beginning is quite a strategy nowadays. So far it is working for them. Taido is gonna fall, gonna lose his FC as soon as we enter the first KI. Poisons and AG3 are trading with each other, and right now, look at that, the easy multiplier is not even needed because BeLux is winning even without it. And Mikov and Blue Flare Blitz, what are you guys doing? Hahami is the only one trying to resist the power of that duo, but right now it is just not working. They are getting that win, getting the win in that battle after the first KI, but they still need to win the war. By the end of the map, we will see if they actually manage to hold on, because the lead, even though they have it and easy multiplayer makes it easier, if enemy Cov and Blue Flare Blitz just find those misses, it's gonna be really easy for Kazakhstan to bring back, because you look at those recoveries. Hahami with an FC and Poison's image at tight, they are backing him up at the moment. Same could be said for BeLux though, but Kaija finding that break for Haru, that's not who you want to find breaking. And with that, we're entering the last KI moments of the map. It's around the last quarter of it, and who will blink first? The lead is going to Kazakhstan, but still though, you need to keep in mind that easy multiplier, and with that, Hahami, Tight, Imutka, one by one, they just crumble apart. And BeLux, even without that easy multiplier, once again, second time already into this map, they are taking over the lead. No calculations needed. Kazakhstan really tried to get that grip on BeLux's point, but BeLux just said, nope, not this time. We are getting our first pick in a very fancy manner. And there it is. You have 1-1 on the board. Ooh, and that next pick is quite an interesting reply from Team Kazakhstan. I'm not going to lie. At the first glance, it might seem really weird for them, but actually, if you realize what Fremont 1 is, you will likely change your mind. Like, of course, BeLux won Fremont 2, so why are you picking Fremont 1? Is the same mod pool. But yeah, just hold on. This Fremont 1 is a very much tapping heavy mechanics slash consistency map. CS 3.8, it basically doesn't have any aim, and you can hear those breakcore music sounds, 230 BPM bursts, and finger control is the name of the game for this Fremont one. This one though has a lot more, a lot higher easy multipliers, but still, it gets way more dance than Fremont 2, so it is kind of deserved. The only question, will Blue Flare Blitz or Kazakhs actually be able to pull off some easy scores that are gonna be really consistent on this one or not? Because if they do, that might be a really great advantage for them and an opportunity to steal a point from Kazakhstan. And for Kazakhstan, it makes perfect sense. They just won that Noma 2. They need some other tapping map. That Noma 2 was a colossal difference between the two teams. They really emerged victorious and established dominance in that one. Right now, yeah, you have nothing left. It's only Fremont 1, maybe DT3 later on, but DT3 is not that tapping heavy. So far looking promising for Kazakhstan, but you still need to watch out because I do see Blue Flare Blitz and Kazakhs, also known as HD3. Those two know what has to be done on those free mod maps, and of course Elmikov and Kaija. No map could start without that powerful duo. So with good luck, have fun in chat. We're gonna enter the third map of today's match. It's going to be Equinox 7 intervals. There we go. Yep, and there it is. Imuchka decided not to load in. Really fortunate right here. Okay, now we're back on track. Amazing. And looking at those mods, yep, actually no easies from any of the players. Completely different story from that free mod too. Blue Flare Blitz and AG3 with Hidden Kaija with Hard Rock, and same mod combinations actually for Kazakhstan. They are mirror images of each other at the moment. Elmikov is gonna have the duel against, of course, with no mod. Who will have the better accuracy? Who will have the better score? It's a question for now. And pretty much each of those players can rival the other one with the same mod. Hamido gonna be dropping that first blood and free mod 1 with HR. Not something you want to see, as HR gives a really decent multiplier, but with that break from Elmikov, things might turn into not so favorable situation for BeLux, especially after those two breaks from Blue Flare Blitz and Kaija. It's as if they were listening to me. And Kazakhstan right now is just blowing them out of the water. Already 250k score advantage. We're barely halfway through the map. AG3, that was the last bastion that BeLux just had. It goes down as well. And you see that break. That break is tragic. You realize what just happened. And that Kazakhstan, they still have those insane scores from most of the players. Poisonous with 99.46% accuracy is leading that attack on BeLux, and he is just being really brilliant with that alongside Imuchka and of course Hahami finding that break, but it doesn't really matter. 400k score difference. It is not growing, it is devouring the other team right now. Yeah, only the last KI. The question now is how far can they pull off that immaculate performance? They are just unfazed. No breaks from the three players FC in the map. Now 2.5 million team score. It might grow up to 1 million, which would be quite insane for all of them. Imuchka finding that break, unfortunate, but it doesn't change the fact the damage has been done. That is a critical hit, exactly what you need to see if you're Kazakhstan and you're picking that map. You picked it, you executed it, you delivered it in the best way possible. And BeLux just cannot do anything about it. It's now 2-1. Another dominant tapping pick from Kazakhstan established. After all, their true nature is those mechanics maps. Against Ukraine, they tried a completely different strategy and they won, but after all, by heart, you have those tapping maps that you're using, and you have been using them all along, and it just speaks for itself. Maybe next time from Kazakhstan, we will see something like DT3, another quite tappy map, not as tappy as Fremont 1 and Noma 2, but still the closest map left in the pool, closest to that tapping department, is exactly DT3. So we'll see how this goes. But for now, it is Team BeLux. They are thinking, what should we go next? We won that free mod 2, but there are no other free mods left. Kazakhstan, in fact, picked free mod 1 and won it against us, so we do not want it. Maybe if you really have those powerful gimmick players, maybe HD2, something like HD2 could work if you're thinking about it. But it's quite similar to free mod 2, it is the closest skill set that you could have, another gimmick map. But honestly, BeLux, they do not seem to be the biggest fans of HD2, as in their previous matches, I don't think I have seen them pick HD2 even once. They have 2 gimmick players, but they might not have just 4. It might be the 3rd or 4th player syndrome, so it could be some other control map, control/A map, and we are seeing that DT1 from BeLux, which they also picked against Team Austria. So it makes perfect sense for them as well. And they have one of the strongest aim rosters in the out of the remaining teams in the tournament. Of course, you will see Almikov and Kaija for that. And we might see the appearance of Agdemon, I'm not sure, but Agdemon is your DT specialist for the BeLux roster. Could be it. We still have to just wait and see. The map itself, it is Snow Halation, there is no need to explain what this map delivers. It's going just to be your raw aim mechanics at 260 BPM. Pretty much farm map, I would say, from the pool. The most farm map that you have in the pool. In fact, AR 10.3, so you know all of those typical characteristics of DT1 that you have in tournaments, especially when it comes to 5-digit. Yeah, that's the roster for BeLux. Okay, not determined so far, but we do see Agdemon as predicted, so that is a great thing. And Navia is actually gonna be joining for Team Kazakhstan, though. It is gonna be that looks like one of the scariest potential rosters. All 4 of these players, they have insane tournament experience. Of course, Hahami, Imuchka, and Poison is gonna be trying to keep this threshold and get that break point on DT1. And yeah, Snow Halation is gonna be the name of the battlefield right here. Wish all the best to both of the teams. As last time, they got quite a respectable score if you take a look at it. And as the map starts, we see a slight accuracy advantage for Team BeLux. They are really comfortable on that map, even though nothing has started yet. Still, aim is something that do not mind playing, but you have to watch out. Kazakhstan is pretty good. They turn out to be pretty good on those control and A maps in the last match against Ukraine. And with that, the first KI is gonna try and separate both of the teams. Agdemon and Navia are gonna be falling for Team BeLux, and of course catching that miss on the first KI. Is now 3 FCs versus 2. Kazakhstan is winning. They have that early advantage. They made some lag room for themselves. Exactly what they need, especially considering that is BeLux pick. BeLux doesn't want Kazakhstan to get a break point on it, but so far Kazakhstan, they got that momentum that they need to actually pull it off and run away with the lead. But that break from, of course, is gonna stop the skyrocketing of the score by a small margin. Still though, you have those 3 FCs, and Agdemon finding another one. And Mikov and Kaija, they're doing their best. Of course, who not if those 2? But you cannot stop that powerful force from Kazakhstan that's going on right now. Entering the second KI, waiting for any breaches in the defense from Team Kazakhstan if you're BeLux, but you're just not seeing them. In fact, it's gonna be you yourself taking your own hit on your own pick, not what you want to be happening. Leaving Kaija, the last man standing. He is fighting with only his willpower against three monsters. FC's Poisonous, Imushka, and Hahami are just not softening their grip on this map, and they know what has to be done for 70k score advantage. Kaija is questioning his entire existence right now because it is a breakpoint potential. Kazakhstan, they have all the cards, they played all of those cards right, and they know if they gain that victory, that's gonna be a major tourney momentum. With that break from Kaija, it's going to be finishing is DT1. That was the final nail in the coffin of the last hope of Team BeLux. Poison goes down, but the damage has been done. 800k score difference. Another dominant victory, and this one is gonna be hitting really different compared to all the others, because this is the first breakpoint of the match, ladies and gentlemen. And Imochka with Hahami are gonna be finishing it off on a high note. Double FCing the map with 97% accuracy, 3.5 million team score. And this is just not what you can afford if you're Team BeLux, but it happened. You casted a spell, but it just took the reverse turn on your own. And now you have it 3-1. BeLux down 2 points. And they're not they're not the next team to pick. Kazakhstan just seem to completely adapt to all the skill sets that there are in that pool. Not only tapping, but they also now have aim. Like you have aim, you have speed. What else do you need, you might ask? Well, that's right. And they probably heard that. They are going for another different skill set. Is going to be No Mod 3, which is a control map. They showcased it to us against Ukraine, and they won it against Ukraine. That is the scariest part of Ukraine, being a really decent control team. And you know, yeah, Kazakhstan picked it against them and they won it. So that felt really fearsome from them. And now they seem to completely embrace that strategy of trying to wear your opponent's skin, your opponent's skill sets. At number 3, it's gonna be the instrument of execution for Team Kazakhstan. Once again, BeLux, they know the deal when it comes to those control maps. But with Kazakhstan having that insane momentum, it's gonna be really hard to defend. I mean, if BeLux wants that breakpoint, they need it right now. This number 3 is something that they have been playing a lot. They have Kaija, they have Enmikov. Pretty sure we will see Mega Facetor as well, the team captain of Team BeLux, who has been playing those Nomad 3 maps all the way, starting from the beginning of the tournament. Yeah, there we go. So a small amount of time where he was in the lobby. But you need to know one thing, is that Poisonous is one of the strongest control players in the tournament overall. And he has some great teammates alongside him as well. And we are seeing that potentially scariest 4-man lineup from Team Kazakhstan. It's, as mentioned, those 4 that have the biggest tourney experience. So, once again, have a really stacked team on the right side of the screen. BeLux, though, they're pulling in Nevia and Blitz. Oh, actually. And Blitz overall is a player, I do not think we have seen Blitz so far, but Blitz is a really strong aim control and tech player overall. Those maps like Nomad 3, Nomad 4, Nomad 1 should be no issue for them. So BeLux, they have all the chances to try and gain and get back that point that they gifted to Team Kazakhstan, that DT1. Or will they actually lose another one? And Kazakhstan, in this case, might get that match point that they desperately want. They dreamed of it. They really need to get out of that group stage, Swiss stage, because imagine if you do, you are a seed 19 and seed 9 team, and you get to top 8 to the bracket stage. That is gonna be another miracle run in the books for Team Kazakhstan, like they did last year. But same could be said for BeLux. They want to outperform themselves, like compared to last time. Unfortunately, only one dream will happen, and it cannot be shared. Is that this normal tree has a lot of stuff for us installed, and yeah, that build up to the first case so far, nobody having any issues with them, which is quite interesting because we saw a lot of players break on those parts even before the KI, even when you had higher seeded teams. Now though, you see those breaks from Kaija and Navia, so that changes the situation a bit. Of course, trading out only one of them, you need more, as we are fully entering the first KI. No one of those FC players is getting tripped up by those obscure old patterns at the moment. Star patterns, yep, they are hitting both of them. And Kazakhstan, with that, they are still having 3 FCs holding really strong, and Mikov and Blitz Ovo holding for BeLux. As we're finally finished with the first KI right now, there's more of a free combo sanction, but soon enough you will also see the dispike of the map. And once we enter it, you will understand when it is happening, and there you'll see the most amount of breaks. Here it comes, and you look at that, the entire lobby covers in misses, and right now it is only Imishka Pro against Almikov, the 2 carries of both of their teams right now, having that 1v1 at the top of the hill. But for how long will they be able to hold on? Almikov, he now has all the chances to secure that break point that they just lost to Kazakhstan, to gain it back. He just needs to hold more. He needs to also hope that Imoshka finds that break. The supports are here from both BeLux and Kazakhstan, but it is of course up to the carries who will hold on longer. The last KI is gonna decide. And right now, players have the time to actually become more cold-headed and enter that last KI full force, full focus. None of the players is breaking. Almikov and Imishka Pro, they are trading each other really well. 90k score difference, Navia finding that break. Hahamian of course also went down a bit earlier, but when it comes to those carries, it doesn't quite matter. It is a perfect knife fight. At the same time from both of them. They do not seem to find breaks. 800k score from both of the players, but Almikov gonna be the first one to fall, unfortunately. And this is the victory for Team Kazakhstan. Imochka, I am pretty sure that is going to be the highest normal 3 score out of anybody who played the map so far. That FC is absolutely diabolical. And I think from what we've seen, the highest score so far was like 700k on this map. And both Almikov with Imochka, they managed to get more than that. Almikov only 1 miss at the very end. But I think, realistically speaking, even if Almikov FC'd the map, it still would have been kind of the same difference. It still would have been the same outcome. Kazakhstan getting that 4th point. So 4-1, and BeLux, they are really balancing between that defeat and glory that they wish to get. Well, on the brighter side, they have the opportunity to determine the next pick, but right now Kazakhstan, they just seem to repeat. They really want to repeat what happened yesterday. They beat Ukraine 5-1 without any issues, and it looks like it is the same tendency going on right here for them. And if you are BeLux, what could you even go for? You just lost your A map, which was DD2. You won Frima 2, which was a gimmick map. The last reasonable opportunity for you is going to be another gimmick map, because so far that was the only thing that worked out. And this is exactly what they are deciding to give their last resort for. It's going to be undercover, potentially the last map of the entire Swiss stage. And overall, all eyes there should be on Blue Flare Blitz and on HD3. Those two are, the most prominent players when it comes to those gimmicks. They picked easies for a reason. And this map, it is one of the hardest maps in the pool. Not many teams have picked it, but the ones that did, I think even, yeah, either United Kingdom or some other country played it. I think France played it, and we didn't see any FCs, even from the higher seeded teams. So this one got hands for sure. It has a lot of those overlaps, a lot of interesting rhythm changes, and of course this AR8 hidden. So pure reading test, exactly what you need if you want to try and skill camp Kazakhstan on this one. An amazing map. And for BeLux, hopefully, will be an amazing performance if they want to get that second point and potentially start off a comeback. The only way for them to win right now is through tiebreaker. But even to reach that tiebreaker, they need to deliver a lot of maps as best as they can. And this is also when you understand that it is 4-1. One mistake and you're out. This is where all of your nerves will start to kick in. If you're Team BeLux, it's been a long journey. You do not want to get out of the tournament like that. But what I know for sure is that they have been in a situation like that before. They've losing to Ukraine 4-2, and then they just pulled themselves together and got all the way to 4-4. Then they were losing the tiebreaker by 100k, but they had Andmikov, and Andmikov decided it was his time to shine, and he did that comeback to Ukraine on tiebreaker. And with that, BeLux is still here with us. They need another miracle at this point. And the only way is AG2. 3 minutes and 24 seconds. It's quite a long AG2, and there's a lot of tricky patterns, so it's gonna be a rocky road for Team BeLux if they want to win, but this is the price that you have to pay. With this, let us start potentially the last map of the entire Swiss stage before the bracket stage. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Blitzo, Blue Flare Blitz, AG3, and Andmikov for the BeLux side. Imochka Pro, of course, Offrain and Poisonous for the Kazakh side. Let the battle begin. And we're gonna be actually faced with some overlaps right off the bat. Andmikov, just Andmikov is gonna be fine at the break because that was a bancho from Poisonous. So far 3 versus 4. But if you look at that accuracy, 99 from Blitz, 98 from AG2, 97 from Blue Flare Blitz, and that definitely tells you something. If you look at Offrain, Offrain is not comfortable despite of seeing the map. Is at 89% accuracy. And overall, the accuracy seems to be on the side of Team BeLux, but it's just more and more breaks from all of BeLux players as we're entering that first KI. Blitz Ovo crumbles. Blue Flare Blitz and Andmikov, they're still holding, but there is a whole 4-way FC from Kazakhstan. Never mind now. 2 of them go down. Imochka Pro and Poisonous. The most powerful duo on the side of Team Kazakhstan is still here, and you cannot count them off the board. 80k score difference. And they know everything is still on the table. It's just the beginning of the map. They have all the chances. Blue Flare Blitz and Andmikov, your team score will depend on you. Blue Flare Blitz is not breaking, however, Andmikov and Poisonous found those. Imochka is now 1v1 in Blue Flare Blitz, and Imochka, matter of fact, is winning because of that accuracy advantage. It's 2%, 50k, and we are entering the second KI. This is where legends either rise or break, everybody. And Blue Flare Blitz and Imochka are not seem to be faced by this map. They are remaining really stable. The entire team of BeLux just finding those breaks, except Blue Flare Blitz, the last hope. The hope is still here as Kazakhstan is building up their recoveries and Imochka still having that FC. This is the final stand that Blue Flare Blitz has to hold. This map is brutal, and Imishka fighting that break on absolutely nothing, on an overlap pattern. Same goes for off-frame. Blue Flare Blitz just needs to hold 100k score difference. It is more than doable. He sees the breach in the defense. He needs to hold longer. It is his time to shine right now, but no! Right before that last Ki finding that break. But who do we have now? It is basically no one, just HD3 with that 190 combo. He needs to hold on that so dearly. 50k, 60k, it is going to Kazakhstan for some reason, despite a lot of breaks. The entire lobby has been reset right now. It's 60k. You need that accuracy, you need those combos, anything that you can grip upon, but you cannot find any of those. It's constant breaks. That Ki is the hardest one of the map. And look at those spinners are not helping BeLux, and those patterns are just crucial. And with that, the potential of the comeback has been packed, sealed, and delivered for Team BeLux. It's going to be Team Kazakhstan, the last team to qualify to the bracket stage and to get out of Swiss stage. And there we have your 8 teams. While BeLux is gonna unfortunately leave the tournament once and till the next iteration. That has been an insane match. But at the end, it is Kazakhstan. They asserted dominance as they needed. They got swept by Czechia, they got swept by Russia, but they did not give up. They won in the same match against Italy, they won against Ukraine, they won against BeLux. And I'm pretty sure we will hear of them in the next quarterfinal stage. They have some tasks they need to complete. I'm pretty sure they want to get those revenges for that revenge against Czechia and Russia. They got swept by them. They do not want to leave it be. And we shall only wait and see how the bracket stage goes. And for Team BeLux, I am pretty sure we will see a lot of those Belgian players in 5EC really soon. Same for Luxembourg, because you know those players are really crazy. And yeah, you look at them, they got seed 14 in qualifiers, but they placed seed from top 9 to top 11 in Swiss stage. So that is a really respectable performance from them, and they can be really proud of themselves. They outseeded themselves. So yeah, we're just a bit unfortunate against Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan pulled off an incredible performance, and they deserve that victory. So with that, I'm really happy that both teams participated and delivered some crazy matchups for the whole duration of Swiss stage. But for now, this is going to be the story of that Swiss stage, and we're only left with 8 teams. And you know what? Yeah, there's nothing more left to say. The next thing that we will have is tomorrow going to be your quarterfinals pool showcase, because we're gonna turn the tournament into the bracket stage, the double elimination bracket stage, and the pool will be announced tomorrow. Same thing goes for the matchups, and then you will finally see your actual opponents, and with that, the main phase of the tournament will begin. But for now, I think we can give our final shout outs. Thank you everybody for watching. In the commentary booth, you had me, BeLux, streaming the match for you was kinda also known as Ava. Ref in the match was Nordex21, and with that, it's going to be our 5EC staff team signing off. Bye bye everybody, and have a nice day. We will see you tomorrow.